Hey, it's really good to have you back here with me again. I've really been looking forward to this, and I know you have been too. Well, I want to invite you to go ahead and grab yourself a cool drink, whatever you like, or maybe you want a hot drink. I don't know, whatever your thing is. I've got my paper here turned horizontal. The drawing's all set. I'm using 300-pound paper as usual because it doesn't buckle when I add a lot of water to it. So we're just about ready to go here. Let's go ahead and get going, and while I'm painting today, all the names of the colors are going to be flashing across the screen. Just let me get my chair all set. Make sure I got my shirt so it's not all bunched up in the back. Gets mighty uncomfortable when that happens. Anyway, let's go ahead now and I think we're gonna start with some very light colors as usual. And you know what? In this little water bucket I've got here, I've got 3 wells. The first 2 wells I use to clean the brush off. I tap it to get all that extra water off, and if it's a flat brush, I just wipe it on both sides. I wipe it on both sides of the brush, and then I take a look here. Where do we want to begin this painting, I think? Well, you always want to start with the lightest parts, right? Yeah, you always want to start with the lightest parts. So the lightest parts are probably going to be these little water spurts here. We're painting the fountain of youth today. And you know what? I think I want these little water spurts to be phthalo blue. We need some phthalo blue here, but we also need to clean a little bit of paint off the palette because we got too much on it right now. This painting is not going to have too much green on it today, I don't think. So we're going to have to fix that. Alright, well, let's take care of a few things. I'm just using some, toilet paper that you can buy at Home Depot. It's nothing special. Just find some cheap stuff and work with it. You don't have to get any fancy stuff. And if you want to use paper towels, go right ahead. I mean, there's nothing wrong with paper towels. Whatever works for you. Whatever works. A lot of watercolor painting is just improvising anyway with whatever tools you may have. Case in point, I've got a roll of toilet paper and a natural sponge that I like to use to paint trees and stuff. Sometimes it works out for me when I use this thing, other times not so much. Okay, let's go ahead now and get a little round brush out. I might want to get the liner brush for this, just to get all these little things here. Alright, well anyway, let's get a lot of paint, or at least a lot of water, making sure that I got all the paint cleaned off of this round brush here. And you know what? I got a little secret for the round brushes. When you use the round brushes, you want to tilt it out, angle it, and you want to swirl it around. But I'm not going to do it right here in front of the camera because that's going to get all kinds of water on the camera. And that is bad news. So I'm just going to swirl it around, and boom, I got myself a nice little point just like that. Now, isn't that handy? Yeah, that's handy, all right. Okay, let's go ahead and get a little bit of the phthalo blue here. Nice puddle of it. Just the phthalo blue. Just the phthalo blue. We don't want to get... Do I want to get another color in here? Do I? Well, I don't know. My gut tells me to go ahead and get a little bit of the quinacridone magenta in there. Just a little bit. Not too much. Yeah, just a little bit of that quinacridone magenta. We're going to shift that color toward middle blue, I think. More of a... kind of like an ultramarine, a violet blue color. I don't know if you know what ultramarine is. It's one of the colors we're using today, but it's a very violet blue color. It's probably the most famous of violet blues. Okay, I got a lot of paint there. I got just enough paint to get all these little water spurts we got going on in here. And I'm going to look around for all the areas where I think there's going to be a little bit of water. We want to get lots of water on this because we want this to be a very light color, very light. And I'm going to get some paper towel ready just in case it's not light enough. Because while the paint's wet, you can still lift it a little bit. Did you know that? I don't know if you did, but you certainly know now, don't you? Yeah, you do. Okay, we're going to go right here. And what we're going to do is maybe we're going to angle it up. Because we're going to try to do a little bit of a dry brush thing right here. Ooh, that's pretty strong, actually. That's pretty strong. Okay. Okay. Now we're going to lift that a little bit because we want that to be a little weaker. There. Oh, that's nice. Yeah. Yeah, that's about what we wanted. I used a lot of water and it still turned out to be a little strong. Isn't that uncanny? Yeah, a little bit. Okay, let's go ahead and paint ourselves a little bit of a mark of water right here. There, just like that. Oops. If a little bit gets elsewhere, don't worry too much about it, but just make sure that it's a light tint, very light tint. You have to be careful with colors like these. These colors are very strong. Phthalo blue, oh boy, the phthalo colors, they're bullies. We got phthalo blue, we got phthalo green today on the palette. So you gotta be very careful. Just like that. Maybe this water's shooting up. You know, what happens here, this Fountain of Youth thing, what happens here is that people take the children here to play, and then they play on these little like pressure pads, and sometimes the water really spurts up. Like, it's so much fun for the children because all the water spurts up and they start running through it and stuff, and you know, people wear their bathing suits there, they take the kids there, and they kind of just sit off on these benches off to the side and watch the children, you know, slip and slide around. And it's kind of worrying because, you know, there's so much water there on this thing that, you know, you wonder, man, are these children going to get hurt if they keep playing around here? I don't know. Okay. Be real careful and keep those tints very light. Now, maybe we want to go ahead and just, you know, maybe there's like a little hint of water on these little, what do we call them, nozzles right here? Yeah, we'll call them nozzles. That seems like a good word, right? Yeah, it's as good as worded, Eddie. There's lots of hints of water here. And water, I don't know if you've noticed, water tends to have a very light blue color to it. And the reason it has that light blue color, like we're painting right here with the little bit of phthalo blue and quinacridone magenta, is because water, when it appears blue, is because it's reflecting the sky. The sky has that blue color, all right? Okay, now there's a child playing right here, so again, be very careful laying this color in. Yeah, if you want, if you can, try to get the paint to break a little bit. If you can get the paint to break a little bit, that's going to be all the better, because that really makes it look like it's kind of just splashing up. Sploosh. And, you know, there's all these little watermarks on the ground from the water kind of just gathering around the nozzles and stuff. It's really fun. And if we apply this toilet paper, you can see that I'm lifting just enough color. I'm lifting just enough. Okay, maybe we can lift a little bit more. But there's still that shadow or that ghost of the color left behind, because, well, not all the color lifts when we use phthalo blue like this. A little bit of it stays behind because phthalo blue is a staining color. Now imagine we got a big old pile right here. There's a big old puddle right there in the middle. Maybe the drain's backing up a little bit, and maybe town maintenance has got to come by with a plunger or something, take care of some business. I don't know. We'll just pretend that's the case right there. That's fun. It's so fun. It's just such a joy to go and, you know, watch these kinds of things where they got this kind of stuff. Makes you wish you were still young so you could go through there and well, maybe run through those big fountains right there. I suppose you could still do it. You just look a little silly doing it as an adult. People might look at you a little weird. Oh well. Okay. Now, like I said, you want to try to get the paint to break a little bit. Just a little bit. And maybe paint's coming down here a little bit. Yeah, just like that. And maybe there's a little bit of a puddle kind of gathering over here. I don't know. Before that dries, well, we're gonna go over here, I think, and just get a little bit of this. Yeah. And then we'll lift that a little bit. You gotta be real careful painting a painting like this, because what happens is the color sometimes will drip if you got a little too wet. So it can be a little troubling. There. Sometimes it gets a little too dark. You want to just lift it just enough. I think we got a nice balance here. Let's go ahead now. Try not to glaze over what you just did, because you don't want it to get too dark. We're still working on this one right here. Okay. Alright. Okay. Maybe we got that going right there, and we got a little hint of something over here. Just take a little bit more of that color. Alright, that's nice. Let's go ahead and lift some of that. Alright. That's nice. We'll go over here maybe. And maybe we'll just go over what we did right there, and maybe right here too. Okay. That's fun. Well, like I say, you want to do the light ones first, and then all the other ones you can do next. All the other ones you can do next. That's cool. Okay, let's go right. Okay. There it goes. Perfect. And can we still lift any of that? I think that might be a little dry. The color tends to dry fast when you lift it up right away. Alright. Yeah, it looks like we've got a little bit of color on those over there. Here, let's get this one right here. And, you know, maybe this is coming down. Okay, this one's coming up. There. Maybe the water's kind of just coming up over there. I don't know. Maybe it is. Okay. Now we've got all these fountains doing some fun things. Or these little nozzles over here, you know, throwing all that water down, having too much fun. Having too much fun like we do. I remember when I was young, I used to run through the sprinkler and stuff when it gets set out, because, you know, people used to water their lawns a lot more than I think they do now. I think everyone's kind of strapped for cash right now these days, so you don't see as many people watering their lawns as you used to. But back when, people used to water their lawns a lot more. And whenever the sprinkler would be put out, I'd like to put on my bathing suit and take a run through it. And I don't know if anyone else did that in my neighborhood. I don't really recall, but I liked doing it. I thought it was fun. Okay, let's go over here and, you know, throw a little bit of something down over here. There we go. Maybe right here. We'll throw down that color. Okay. That's looking good. Okay. Alright. Nice little glaze effect right there. And then we'll go over to this little spot right here, because maybe there's some more water gathering over here. Who knows? Who knows? Things are real slick. Things are real wet in here. And, you know, it's pretty easy to give things that slick, wet appearance when you're using phthalo blue, because it doesn't have any granulation to it. It makes a real useful color for things that are really, really smooth. You know, for things that want texture, you might want to use a different color. You might want to use a different color for things that need a little bit of texture to it, like, say, ultramarine blue. Ultramarine blue granulates, so it's a natural choice for putting a little bit more texture in your work, if that's what you're looking for. Okay. Alright, we've got some nice things going on here now. I have to say, I'm pretty happy. Okay, now let's take a look at, say, the sidewalk over here. In fact, I'm going to get out my big round for this one. My big old round, okay? Now let's go ahead and wipe off the palette a little bit, because we need a little space, I think, to make this work. Alright, let's go ahead and clean off some of that color that we got over there, because it's too much. It's too much. Boy, that color really takes up some space, doesn't it? Yeah. I know it's hard for you to see my palette. Probably can't see it at all right now, but here's what it looks like. I gotta be careful, because It drips a little bit here. Let me angle it up. There it goes. Yeah, a little messy, right? Yeah, it's a little messy. But we have fun. We have fun with these colors. And these colors, you're going to get a lot of mileage out of them if you use them. Because they're so strong. So you got to be, like I keep telling you, you got to be careful. If you're not careful, they'll take over the whole painting. Okay, swirl the brush around. Okay, now let's get some of the nickel azo yellow and the quinacridone magenta. And we want this to be, ooh, I think I'm gonna keep it somewhere in the middle. Somewhere in the middle, I think. Yeah. All right. Now, maybe that I've got that quinacridone magenta and that nickel azo yellow here. Maybe what I want to do, maybe I want to add a little bit of ultramarine in here to make this work. Because maybe what I want to do is have some granulation going, okay? So if you do want, you just add a little bit of that ultramarine in there. Not much, not much. If it shifts green, add a little bit more quinacridone magenta, a little bit more nickel azo, and a little bit more of both colors until it's got kind of a sunny-ish hue to it. But you still got a little bit of that ultramarine in there, right? Right. Okay. Now let's go ahead and let me make sure I don't have any. Ooh. Those bristles are a little stiff, aren't they? Okay. Yeah, okay. I don't think we've got any more color in there. I don't even know if we had any color to begin with. It just felt like it was a little stiff. That's weird. Okay. Well, let's go up here and we'll work in small chunks, I think. We won't overbear ourselves here. Okay. There it is. Okay, so we got all this. Now that's going to be a shadow right there, that line that I have drawn. So I want to be very careful what I do. What I do there, all right? Okay. In all these areas that have these marks, I want to try to get this color in here, okay? So I'm going to take this color and go over a lot of this, all right? There's a lot of color in here. There's a lot of color. So I'm probably going to want to lift a little bit of it, all right? I'm almost definitely going to want to lift a little bit of it. But I'm still going to cover all the areas that I just wet. Because that's one of those things about watercolor. A lot of times if you can work the whole wet and wet technique, you really should. Because it looks great. Okay. Alright, now we gotta go all the way over to this character over here. Alright. Like I said, we're gonna lift a little bit. We're gonna lift some of this. I keep saying it like I'm in denial. No, we're gonna do it, okay? Let's go ahead and get a piece of that toilet paper. You can see that the ultramarine has got a little bit of an effect on that. Okay. Okay. All right. Now, be sure we lift, I'm going to say, a majority of this, because we want this to be a very light tint, all right? But it's kind of good that it's so strong, because a lot of times we don't make things strong enough, I feel like, when we paint these things, right? Right. All right, I'm going to take that color that I was using and get a little bit more of it right in here. Again, very carefully, because I don't want to paint over these figures. Okay. Right there. Then right in here. All right. There's going to be a little bit of a wall right here. So I want to be careful painting that. All right. Now, well, let's go ahead and paint all the way down to here. We'll go all the way down to here. And then we'll stop right about there, okay? And then we'll lift what we did here. There. And we want this to be about the same value as everything else we've done. Okay. There it goes. There it goes. Everything's looking pretty good right now. Pretty good. What do you say we go ahead and paint this little top of this wall right here that same color? Because I feel like it's going to be about the same color. And if you don't like that, you can go ahead and paint a different color if you want. This is my painting. And what I say goes. Okay. Okay, let's go about right here. Then right about there. Okay. And let's lift some of that. Don't let it dry. Whatever you do, don't let it dry before you lift it. Because if you try to re-wet it, you're going to have a heck of a time lifting these colors. Because these colors are not colors that want to come back up. That's just a helpful little tip from me. If you try to lift these after they've dried, you're going to be in a world of hurt, my friend. A world of hurt for sure. Okay. Well, now we want to go ahead, I think, and go for some of these other areas, like right in here. Looks like I've got a little bit of something on there. Okay. Let's just go ahead and see if we can clean some of that off. There. Luckily, the water's just so wet that we don't have to worry about too much. Okay? Alright. Now let's go ahead and get this little walkway here with these characters. And again, I'm going to be very careful where I put these paints. I might have gotten too much water here. If you get too much water, you can always dry a little bit of it off. Alright? There's nothing that says you can't get... Okay. Get right there. Yeah. Ooh, this is some tricky areas. This is tricky business. No joke. Okay. So let's go ahead now. Alright, paint this. And we'll go up in here. Let's get right between her. There we go. Yeah, let's try not to paint over her details. Okay. Cool. Now, like I say, go ahead and get her, or get this area, I should say, before we do the other area. Because that water's still going to be pretty wet, okay? Alright. Why don't we go ahead and set that aside for right now. Let's go in here and finish what we started. Okay. There. I imagine that these people are just like friends where one of them is like got a kid that's playing around the area right here, because this is in the middle of like a park, you know. It's in the middle of a park, and you know her kid's running around having fun, playing with all the other kids, and you know she's got a friend that came along because they've been friends a long time. All right, look at that. Look at that. Okay. Okay. Got a couple of nice areas there. Yeah, that's real nice. All right. Now we got just enough color left over that we can paint some of these areas right over here, right? So let's paint the top of this little detail right here. Okay. And we'll paint the top of this detail over here, because let's keep it simple. Keep it simple. Like maybe all the pavement here is made from the same kind of stuff, you know? Maybe it is. Who knows? Suppose whoever made it would know. Okay. Alright. Now, when you lift, go straight for the color that you laid down first, because that's going to make it a lot easier to lift it than if you start at the color that you painted last. The color you painted first is the color that should be lifted first. That's the rule here. And then the color that you lifted last ought to be lifted last. Okay. And now we've got a couple of things to fill in here. Like maybe we got this. Okay. And maybe we got this over here. Like, ooh, we got, yeah, just like that. And maybe we got this here. Maybe there's a big old step just going down or something. I don't know. Big old step just leading down. There it goes. Okay. Let's get this one too. See, I broke my own rule there. But there wasn't hardly enough to really make a difference. Okay. Looking good. Looking good. Alright. Let's start with another light color here. I think I want to take a very light amount of the ultramarine. Alright. I want to take a very light amount of the ultramarine, and maybe I'll bring it over here with my quinacridone magenta and the nickel azo yellow. Because maybe we got a color that's going to be mostly ultramarine, but maybe it's got a little bit of that mix of quinacridone magenta and nickel azo yellow in it. Okay? Yeah, maybe it does. Who knows? Let's add a little bit more of the quinacridone magenta in there and the ultramarine blue. Okay? Alright. So let's go ahead now, and we're going to do this whole wet thing again. We're going to wet this area. Okay. Sometimes a little bit of water drips off the brush. That happens. That happens. Now, I really recommend that you start with a strong drawing here. That way, this is going to be a lot easier. Because if you're painting this and you don't have a strong drawing, oh boy, this is going to hurt. Okay. Yeah, now look at that. Okay. Now I've got just the lightest touch of quinacridone magenta and nickel azo yellow in there. Just to maybe dull down the ultramarine a little bit. Okay. And of course we're going to lift this because this is still a little too dark. Still a little too dark. Okay. Make sure you got all the areas that you want paint covered. And then we can get out the paper towel, or not the paper towel. I keep wanting to call toilet paper tissue paper towel, but let's be serious here. We know what this is. Alright. Here. Just lay it across. Lift it like that. And just dab at it until it's got just the right amount of value to it. Alright. Yeah, maybe that's the color that we want. Maybe that's the color. Yeah, I think that's looking pretty smart right there. Okay. So we're going to go ahead with a little bit more water, and we're going to paint this other section right here. Now the great thing about flat brushes is that as you turn them, you can widen the berth of the stroke. See how I started off horizontal here, and as I turned it slightly vertical, or I turned it diagonal more accurately, I guess you could say. Now I'm going to take that same color, and we're just going to go in here and paint that same color again. And we'll lift it as soon as we're done a little bit. Now I do a lot of lifting here, but it's lifting with a purpose. Oh man, that's getting a little precarious right there, I'd say. If you feel like there's too much water, use your best judgment. Okay? And that's what I did just there. I used my best judgment and I lifted some of that water off because that was too much water. Sometimes you get too much water on the painting. And when it's flat, it doesn't matter so much, but when it's, completely vertical like this, it can be a little bit of a problem. Okay. Now again, these colors stain. These are staining colors that we're using, but we can still lift enough of them that, we have a successful painting happening right now. We can go ahead, is this my brush? Is that it? Ooh, no, that's it. This one is much wetter. I have two flat brushes here, so sometimes I get a little tripped up if I'm not paying attention. I also need to remember that the one that I've been using here for these particular washes has been a little redder in hue, the bristles. Okay, now right here, just like I did before, the other figure, you want to just kind of use the edge of the brush to kind of get in between all of her feet. There. That's pretty good. Really helps to break things down into simple shapes as you're painting. Don't make it hard on yourself. Try to make it easy. If you break it down into simple shapes and concentrate on those instead of trying to paint it all at once, paintings get a lot more manageable that way. It really does. Because, watercolor can be really, really intimidating. It is by far, most people think, the hardest medium. And I'm going to tell you right now, it's not easy. Painting a painting like this, it is hardly easy. But it can become easier if you just do a little bit of management. Okay? Now we'll just dab at this and take off a little bit of the extra. Ooh, I think I took off a little too much there. I wasn't expecting that to lift so much. Here. Okay. What do you think? Yeah, I think I can maybe get a little bit more across this whole thing. Okay, that's about the right value. It's in the ballpark at least. Right? Right. Now let's go ahead and get this one right here. And we finally got the highlight on top of this big old stone. I guess we could call it a bench. Is it really a bench? I don't know about that. But it's close enough. Functionally, it's a bench because people are sitting on it, right? Well, people gotta have a place to rest themselves. It gets hard, standing around all the time. Kind of wish more places had benches, Seems like so many places I go now, they don't have hardly any. And, it's not great. People need to sit down once in a while. Especially people who have a hard time getting around. There. Isn't that looking good? Let's go ahead and do the rest of this down here. Now the reason I wanted to use ultramarine on this was, one, to give it some texture, but also to give it a little bit of variation from the phthalo blue that we see over here, Yeah. Okay, watch out for this figure right here, because we got a little girl who's playing right in front of mommy and her friend. Well, who knows? Maybe she has two mommies. I don't know. Maybe she got two mommies. Whatever. I have no idea. We'll just pretend that she does. She's playing in front of her mommies. They're watching her run around on the benches. They're telling her, be careful. You don't want to get hurt. And they're right. Because it's not safe to be running around on all these wet surfaces. But still, they go there because it's fun. Okay. Now we're gonna... This is a pretty simple operation right here. We just go in. A lot of times you can just let the watercolor drip down and do its thing. Right? It's like the beauty of watercolor is letting it just kind of fill in the blanks whenever you can let it. It doesn't always work that way, but sometimes it's real nice when watercolor just does the work for you. Okay, yeah, watch out for that little nook and cranny. Getting in between that kid there was like getting into an English muffin. Whew. Tight little space where we gotta fit the color, Just right there. Oof. Oof. It's one of the drawbacks when working on a real small surface like this. On a real big surface, it's easy. On a smaller surface, it can be a little bit of a chore. All right. We're going to do the same thing here. We're going to lift this. We're also going to glaze some shadows over this later. Okay? That's I don't know, it's just a little bit of fun for us. Glazing is so much easier with watercolor than it is with than oils or acrylics or really any other medium. It's not even funny how much easier it is. Although you do have to laugh about it sometimes. Okay. All right, let's go ahead and find ourselves a nice brick color over here. And I think I got one. Let's take a little bit of the Pyro Orange, I think. I'm going to save this. And I'm going to mix up a little bit of color. You know what we might want to do is we might want to get the mop brush out for a little bit of this. We haven't really used the mop brush all that much, you know? There's no reason not to. I really like using this round brush, this big old round that I have here with natural hairs, because the natural hairs carry so much water. Okay, let's go ahead and get a lot of Pyro in here. A lot of Pyro. We're going to get that Pyro Orange. Okay? I want mostly Pyro Orange in here. I want it to be like a very, very muted brown. So it's got to be mostly Pyro in here. Alright? But there's also just going to be that light amount of phthalo blue to keep it really dark. Okay? Okay. Alright. And you know what I say, when you think you've added enough, go one step further. Because, you know, sometimes you think you go far enough and you find out, oh, I probably should have gone one step further. Well, that's what we're doing. And we're going to add one more just for good measure. One more round of Pyro right there. You gotta be careful with the phthalo blue because it tends to overpower the Pyro. And Pyro is not a weak color. Pyro is very, very strong. Okay, let's go in here and wet this. Alright. We'll wet that and we'll go and stop right about here. That's right. We'll stop right there. Stop right there, and then we'll go in here. We'll just make some quick strokes. Maybe, I don't know, right about there. Right about there is good. Okay. I know I'm painting around the people, and that's really on purpose. We want to save the people for the end, because they're the coup de grace, aren't they? Yeah, they are. Okay. Ooh, that is just the color that I was looking for, actually. Now, we're definitely going to lift a little bit of this, because it's best to go a little bit lighter than you think you should sometimes, especially in these beginning layers. These beginning layers are really establishing all the color notes that we need to paint the rest of the painting. That's really intense. Ooh, that's a fiery brick orange. Yeah. It's very nice. I really like that. Okay, let's try not to get hurt too much. I'm trying to save all these people from getting painted too much. Sometimes it's easier said than done, you know? Because you try to save all these little areas and save all these people, but, oh, just like in real life, people have a funny way of getting in your way when you need them to move. All right. Here I go. Let's lift this. Now, this isn't going to lift all that much, I don't think, because we are dealing with a phthalo color, okay? Now, lift the thing that you painted first, okay? Okay. That's nice. Ooh, that's just light enough. And, you know, dab at it. Okay? If it leaves a little bit of texture, it's all good. Okay? Alright. Okay. That's nice. That's nice right there. Ooh. I'm actually really pleasantly surprised by that. Now, where else can we use that color, do you think? We can probably use it over in here. So let's go ahead in this little park area right here. And let's paint around the benches. We only want to paint the ground. Only the ground. Okay. Only the ground. Okay. Be very, very careful not to get that railing. That railing needs to be a different color. I think I'm going to make it a turquoise color. That's the color I would think I'm going to make it. Now, I don't know if that's the color it's going to be in the end, but that's the color my gut is telling me to make it. Alright, and like I say, be very careful. You might even want to keep the water away from the railing when you do your own wash. Sometimes little areas, it's best just to keep it relatively dry. Now, I've done intricate detail with wet and wet paint before, but oh boy, let me tell you, it is a trip, to say the least. Okay, let's go right here. Okay. Okay, now, remember, this railing's right here, so be very, very careful. If you're not going to paint this picture, just imagine yourself painting a tight area like this. And that's what we're dealing with here. Very tight area. If you go color outside the lines a little bit, try not to worry too much. But try to keep it to a minimum too. Okay. Okay. Alright. We got it. We got it. Now, let's get out our rag again and pick up some of that color. Okay? There it goes. Now pick up that color, because it's a little further away than some of these other parts, right? It's creating kind of a harder edge on some of these areas, which is totally fine to me, because I like the way that looks. I really do like the way that looks. Okay, let's go in here now. I think I want to go in some of these areas here, and we're going to create some little shadow things. Although I could go in here first and create some of the colors that are in there. You know what I might do? I might actually go in there first. And what we need is a little bit of an orange right here. We need a couple of different colors to really make this work, I think. Yeah, we're going to need kind of a gray over here, and then more of a orangey kind of red color over here. So I got some plans. Yeah, I got some plans. Let's just, all right. Okay, let's get that nice and wet over here. If it drips a little bit, who cares, because we're right at the edge of the paper, right? Right. So it doesn't really matter if it drips a little bit. As long as we're at the edge of the paper, we're safe right now. Thank goodness for that, right? The less stress, the better, honestly. Okay, so since we're going to need a red color, kind of an orangey red, I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to get mostly pyrrole with the quinacridone magenta. All right? Yeah, I'm going to get a lot of orange on this. In fact, I might just use the orange all by itself. That might be enough. Okay. Yeah, it might be. It might be. Although I do feel like we need just a touch of that mud color in there with the phthalo blue, okay? Yeah. Yeah, now we're getting places here, I think. Okay? Okay. And now what I think I'm going to do, I think I'm going to get the... Okay. I think what I want to do is get the ultramarine with the pyrrole. And I want to keep this mostly pyrrole. And what we're going to do is we're going to insert a little bit of that kind of a orangey reddish brick color, and the ultramarine is going to give us that little extra bit of granulation that we need. Okay. And now finally, I think what I'm going to do is use a little bit of the Nicolazzo yellow and the ultramarine to get myself a very, very, very muted blue color that leans towards turquoise, and I want that granulation in there. I want that very dull turquoise color here. All right. We got some real exciting stuff here. Let's get the paper wet once again. Actually, let me get my other brush because I was using that. I don't know, okay. Now we're getting this very wet. It's so wet right now. Sploosh. It's the sound of colors diving in. Alright, that's exciting. That's really exciting. Okay, now let's see if we can get this just right. Now, right about in here. Right about in here. Okay, we got this color. That's kind of just going right in there. We're going to go in and let that do its thing. And maybe right in here, we've got a whole bunch of colors that are, yeah, we got that turquoise right there, and it's going in, it's mingling. Maybe we got some of that over there, and that's mingling. Okay. We got some of this color over here, that's right there. Okay. Yeah. Yeah, maybe we got that. Maybe we got that, alright. Okay. Now, let's go in with this color and see how it goes. Alright. Gonna take some more of that. We'll get a little bit more of that color in there. Why not? Why not? There it goes. Okay. Now we're just going to pretend that this has kind of like a really mottled kind of texture. Kind of like a dirty texture, I guess you could say. Alright. And then we'll go right up here. Alright. Alright, we got that. Okay. Now let's go ahead here with this color. Imagine that there, right in here, is where this color is coming in. There. That's nice. That's nice. Okay. Now, let's go about lifting some of this right in here. Because maybe right about here is where we're going to have a little bit more, a little bit less color, I should say. There it goes. We don't want this to be too strong. We don't want that to be too strong. Okay. In fact, I think what we've done here is about. Okay. Yeah. That's nice. There. There it goes. Maybe if we... Can we lift this color right here? Yeah, we can lift it a little bit. Not much, but a little bit. Okay. And maybe a little bit more right here. There it goes. Okay. Looking very good. Very good. We can go back in with a few things later if we want. But I'm actually pretty happy with the way that turned out. That turned out really nice. In fact, we can go ahead now with some of this color. Maybe we can add a little bit of this right here. And maybe we can go down here a little bit. Oh yeah. Oh yeah, that's good. That's good stuff right there. Very nice. I'm debating whether to add little details for all the bricks and stuff, but we can get to that later. That's more of a fun addition than a necessary one. Okay, let's go right into these little areas and imagine what kind of thing do we need? What do we need? We need. Oh, I think we're going to need some more of that quinacridone magenta and Nicolazo yellow on this. So let's go ahead and get the blue again. This is going to be one of those colors that has a lot of blue in it still. Okay. And we can go ahead and throw that turquoise in there because it's got the Nicolazo anyway, right? Right. So we're going to go straight into our mix of quinacridone magenta and Nicolazo yellow. Now what I have in the wells here, I have two lines of paint in a single well to make it a lot easier for me to mix stuff. And what I do with that is I set one color, like nickel azo yellow, in the well, and then I add a color like quinacridone magenta, and that way when I need a dull orange, I don't have to work very hard to get it. I can just go into the well and get the color, and then the standalone color in a different well, like I have a well just for nickel azo yellow all by itself, that color doesn't get all dirty and stuff. So I have nice clean colors all the time, most of the time, because sometimes I have to go into a well to get another color. Not often, but sometimes it happens. Okay. Now, let's go ahead here and get out our, well, let's get our wash brush here. And right in here, ooh, that's a nice bead of water, isn't it? Yeah, it is. Okay. Yeah, maybe that's a little too much. That's a little too much water. Okay. Yeah, that was a little too much. Here. Now let's go in. And with this color, this nice granulating color that I've added here, we can add this to the whole side of this. Okay. There. That's looking pretty good. That's looking pretty nice. Now, what do we want to do? What do we want to do you think? Do we want to maybe cover a little bit of this up? I don't know. I don't know that I want to take anything away from that. Let's go over here, and maybe we'll paint this. There. There it goes. And it's going to come down here because that little wall is extending because there's a rail attached to it. Okay. Okay. Very nice. Very nice. And what we might do here is go ahead and bring this up to the edge right here and stop at right about this sign. Okay. Right about there. And right here is where that sign kind of stops, so that's where the shadow can stop. Okay. Just set our brush down for a second. Now what we want to do is maybe lift a little bit of that shadow color. Not completely, because we want that shadow color to stick around a little bit. Because it does make this look a little bit more interesting. Okay. Yeah, it makes it look real interesting. It's one of those times it's real nice to have staining colors on hand. They really help. Okay. Let's think about some of the foliage in the background there. I see a lot of foliage in here, and, well, let's just go ahead and put down a little bit of water. We don't have to get real complicated with this. We can put in some really flat looking things. I'm going to get out my other round for this. My smaller round. Okay. Now what I want to get out is some of the nickel azo yellow and the phthalo green. Okay. I'm going to add a little bit more phthalo green than nickel azo yellow to this. Alright, so this can go right in there. That's fine the way it is. That looks really smart. And then on the other side here, we can go ahead and wet these. And then go ahead and throw that color in here. Maybe we need a little bit more. That's fine. Looking good. Okay. Now, think what we want. Ooh. Is this kind of coming up a little bit? Okay. There. Okay. Making sure that the shadow doesn't show up too much on the edge there. Okay. Let's go ahead now and paint a few more of these colors. Like maybe this inside color here is going to be the same color as this color over here. All right. So we got that and this to paint. Let's be careful with it. Let's be careful with it. Maybe we got the other side to do here too. Okay. Again, little details. Watch out. All right. That should be easy enough. Now we're going to take that color that we were using, just drop it in. Okay. And we'll use it over here too. There. So right here there's a tree that we want to watch out for. Because, you know, there's a little bit of landscaping here. We want to watch out for trees and stuff. And the bench is going to be a little bit of that. And over in here, there's another tree growing that's right nearby because someone decided, hey, let's flank this tree. Let's flank this bench with trees on both sides. Because why not? Why not indeed? And if you want to go a little further and just to create a little bit of a line of shadow against the pavement there, that red pavement, go right ahead. Okay. There. That looks pretty nice. All right. So let's go ahead and make some decisions here about what we want to do with, say, is this dry? Yeah, that's dry. Oh, that turned out a nice color, didn't it? Yeah, it really did. It really did. Okay. Well, I want to leave that stuff over there to dry for right now. So let's go ahead and make some decisions, I think, about, well, let's add a little bit of the phthalo here. And yeah. Let's not get too complicated. In fact, I want to get my little round out for this. Okay. Alright. Alright, so right in here is where I think there's going to be a little bit of deep breath, deep breath. A fine detail on this one, you know? Okay. Goodness gracious. Okay, just like that. No shortage of thrills and excitement. Okay. Let's take some of the phthalo blue with that brown color now. And we'll go over in here. And I think, well, actually, when we're painting this, we want to use a bit more texture, don't we? Yeah, we really do. We really do. So I'll clean that off, because it wouldn't be right to put that in there quite yet. But what I will do is get more of the nickel azo yellow and the quinacridone magenta and mix it with our blue over here. Okay. And I want to get something pretty light, so I'm going to paint this in between these little bars here. Okay. And we'll just lift those. Lift those and leave them alone. Alright. And then, well, Let's add blue, I think. The blue to that color. The ultramarine blue. If we need some more color, we can go ahead and get it. Alright. There it goes. There it goes. Now let's go ahead and wet this area, because I think we're going to have some variation in what the color of this is going to be. Let's all right, there it goes. We'll wet this. All right, got that. Ooh, let me scratch my head a little bit. Sometimes wearing this wool beret gets a little itchy. Okay. And we'll work around some of these colors. Don't paint into the water spurts if you can help it. Okay. And watch out for the people here. Now, this is going to be a tricky one. I think this is going to be a tricky one. Okay? Yeah, we got some phthalo on there. So let's take the ultramarine here. Let's get a little bit of ultramarine. A little bit more of the ultramarine, I think. Okay. Alright, let's go in here. And let's imagine that this color gets a little bit more green initially. Alright. If we want, we can lift this if we want. Alright, so then we keep painting. We follow our edges. Okay. All the way over this way. Oops. Maybe we paint over that color a little bit. If we do, it's okay. And we're going to get into this color right there. And let's say that we get some ultramarine in there. Okay. We'll just add it right here. Alright. We'll add a little bit of the ultramarine right there. Okay. Because maybe this color is getting a little cleaner over on this side. Alright. Oh yeah. This color is going to be a weird one. Maybe it's getting a little cleaner. Who knows? A little bit more ultramarine right there. A little bit more right here. And maybe just a touch right here. Right there. Okay. And now maybe we want to add a little bit more ultramarine in a couple of other areas, like maybe we want to add it right in here. Okay. And maybe we want to add it right here. I don't know. Maybe we want to add it right here too. Who knows? Who knows? There. Alright, let's go ahead and lift some of the color here. But not too much. That's the trick. Not too much. In fact, it might help to kind of leave a little bit of the edges in. Alright, just like that. Maybe that makes it look a little bit more interesting, you know? So we'll just take off a little bit of the edges. Pretend that some of these are kind of just like, you know, reflections coming in, and doing their thing. Maybe over here. And let's get that little bead of water before it drips down and causes a ruckus on the painting. There it goes. Okay. So right here, that color's a little lighter. And then everything else looks pretty decent. Everything else looks pretty decent. Okay. Alright. That's good. That is looking absolutely terrific. I love that. Now we're going to do pretty much the same thing with our colors up above, alright? We want to take that brush and wet those edges. Wet those edges. Well, wet the whole surface actually, not just the edges. Again, I'm saving the people until the very end. Because, well, one, the people are going to both be a little challenging, but also, not that hard in the grand scheme of things. Alright. Alright, so we got all of our color here. We got all this. We're gonna use a color that's a little bit yellowish. So it's gonna be a little similar to the shadowy color that we used over here. On the bottom edge, you can go ahead and leave a little bit more of that shadow in there, so that it creates a harder edge once it comes in contact with the ground where we set our first layers down, like that. Okay? That's fine. Alright. Okay. There. That's looking nice. Now, what we want to do is go in with the ultramarine, and since we've got all that wet stuff down, we can go in here. Ooh, look at that. We just added some blue. A healthy drop of blue. Then maybe there's one right over here. Yeah, maybe there's one over here too. I don't know. I don't know. Yeah. This is what we call letting the colors mingle. Yeah, it looks very interesting when you do this kind of thing. So, don't be afraid to try it out now and then. But also don't be afraid to go in and do a little bit of corrections when we need to take out a few things, like maybe we got some stuff in here that we gotta tame a little bit. Alright, got some of that and some of this right here. Alright, maybe we want to take off a little near the edges so that we can still see the edge of that. Alright? Okay. Alright. Okay. Looking good. Looking good. Like I say, no pressure, huh? Alright, let's get this phthalo blue and a little bit of that quinacridone magenta going again. We want that middle blue color again, I think. Because right about in here, we're going to have some stuff happen. Right here. Okay. I should use my liner brush for that. This is a job for the liner brush. Let's not kid ourselves. Okay. Alright. Sometimes I forget myself and I don't realize what I've done until after I've done it. Oh, there it goes. There's going to be a little rim of light right there, and then there's going to be another one right here. Okay. I know, I keep I'm kind of an obsessive glazer. I'm such an obsessive glazer. Goodness me. Goodness me. Let's get some of these plants in here going. Some of the foliage there. What do we want to do here? Let's add a little bit of the quinacridone magenta to what we've just done. We'll get a little bit of the phthalo green and the quinacridone magenta. Yeah, that's a good color right there. Ooh, that's gonna make things a little that olive color. Yeah, you want to lean toward olive here. All right, so all I'm gonna really do here, you know what I could do? I could take my sponge and kind of just maneuver it in here. Just like this. Yeah. That's one way to do it, alright? Yeah, that's one way to do it. Alright, then over here. You know what? I'm going to take my brush for this one. There. Sometimes it's just a little easier, and we need to move things along. There. But it was still fun. It was still fun. Here. Let's get a little bit more of that color right about. Got a hair on the brush. Even in watercolor paintings, I can't stop getting a hair on things. Well, you know what I like to say, that's one for the bingo card. I don't know how long you've been watching, but we got a little bit of a bingo card going here where stuff happens and we check off a list of things that happen every episode. Things that have to happen every episode. Like for one, I get paint on myself, or another one, I accidentally knock something over, or else I get a hair in the paint. You know, blah blah blah, all that good stuff. Okay, and let's go ahead and start thinking about what we want to do in here. I guess I already know what I want to do in here. We gotta mix up a bunch of color. We're gonna need some space for this color, I think. And we might need a little bit of space for this one. On this other side here, we gotta do something too. God, we gotta think about all kinds of things, don't we? Yeah, a little bit. Well, no one ever said painting was easy. I didn't get enough paint off my brush that time. Here. Be sure you clean your brush properly. Don't be lazy about it. Don't be lazy. Because if you're lazy, ooh, it's gonna hurt. Here. Let's go ahead and get some of this in here. There. Okay. That's good. That's good. Okay. Now let's get a little bit more ultramarine to the pie roll on this one. What I want is kind of a dull violet color, but I want a lot of ultramarine on this. A lot of ultramarine. The great thing about Pyro Orange is that it does a pretty nice violet with the ultramarine blue. But you gotta be careful, because ultramarine blue it's kind of a weak color, honestly. So it can get overpowered really easily, and I think I got a right mix right there. Okay, let's go ahead, get out our flat brush, the trusty flat brush, and let's go into this area. Now I have a feeling that this color that we just made, oops, that dripped a little. I don't want that to drip. Luckily, we use staining colors, so that's not really going to do anything to us. 3 cheers for staining colors right there, right? Okay. And you know, it's looking like it's going to drip again. Boy, that one just wants to drip. Okay. So let's go ahead now and go ahead, get it. There it is. Go ahead and get it in there. All right. Come on. All right. Yeah, there's that shadow color that we're looking for. All right. So now what we want to do near the bottom here, near the bottom, we will lift this a little bit. Okay. It's got a little bit of that color. It's right on the edges here. Right on the edges. Okay. Here it goes. That's not bad. Okay. Now, let's do a little bit of a glaze here. And down below, let's pick a spot right about here. And we're going to bring this shadow all the way over this way. Okay? We're just going to use the same shadow color, you know? There it goes. Okay. And I want to leave a little bit of the railing there because I don't want to cover it up. Okay? Alright. There. That looks good. Now we can take a little bit off the edge right here. Alright. Maybe as we go up, I can dab a little bit, kind of just to simulate maybe the bricks of this thing. Okay. Yeah, that doesn't look bad at all. It's a very standing color, so be sure you get exactly where you want when you set it down. Otherwise, you're not lifting it at all. Okay. Okay, I got an idea here. Let's take some of the phthalo green and the phthalo blue, and let's create ourselves a color that's mostly phthalo blue. And we'll do a nice little light tint on these rails right here. We'll just set them down on the rails. Okay. In fact, what am I doing? I should get the liner brush out. It's the responsible thing to do. There we go. Let's do all the rails that we have here. Okay. This one over here. And that one's right there. Okay. And then maybe this one over here. That's getting covered a little bit. Whoops. Accidentally dunked my liner brush down in the water. Oopsie daisies. Okay. Let's just take that down a notch now. You can see that it stains pretty heavily when you use those phthalo colors. So be real careful when you use them. Like I say, get it right where you want it to go, because after you've done that, it ain't coming up. Alright, let's use that phthalo color one more time. That phthalo mix. Get it right over here. And these are fine details, so it's a good idea to use the liner brush for it. Alright. Okay, we got those. Those are going to make for a pretty light color, I think. Yep. We'll just take a little bit off the edges there. And then, are there any other rails, do you think? Well, there might be one like one right here. We'll add this one right here. We didn't really draw it, but we'll just say it's there. Okay, right about this way. There it goes. And maybe we got another one over in here. Okay. And we got this one right here. That one going over that way. Okay. That looks pretty decent. There we go. Okay, let's take a little bit of our, let's take a little bit of the, we'll say ultramarine. No, boy, decisions. I think I want to take a little bit of the ultramarine and the phthalo green here. Maybe I do, or maybe I'll just take some ultramarine. Yeah, I'll just take some ultramarine. Let's keep it simple. Okay, maybe we want to go right about here. Okay. All right. I use the ultramarine and pyrrole mix for that right there. And now if I want, I can take my phthalo green, the yellow shade of phthalo green, along with my ultramarine here, and do a handy little turquoise color right at the bottom. Okay. And since it's still wet, let's go ahead and lift a lot of that. Okay, just like that. Just like that. Maybe we'll get that color up above here too. What the heck? And we'll just treat the pyrrole as one of those shadowy colors. There it goes. Yeah, it doesn't look too bad at all. So about relations. Usually when you have a color that you've laid down, usually what happens is that the color is always going to be about the same color, alright? And we'll just take the pyrrole over here. Okay. And again, pyrrole is a very heavy stainer, so be careful where you put it. Luckily, we don't have to go very far with it. And we'll just take a little bit and add it right on top there. Okay. That's good. Now, let's think about some big shapes here. Some pretty big shapes. I got all this area right here that we got to do something with. So let's go ahead and put a lot of water on this. I just got a feeling that this is going to take a lot of water to make this work. Oops. I'm already dripping. That's a positive sign. This is our wash brush, by the way. Our wash brush. The flat brush like this is our wash brush. Alright. And don't let it drip down too much. Just get it right in there. Okay. Okay. Right near the edge there, there's going to be a little bit of a darker color. What we're trying to do right now is we're trying to go around all these little nozzles on the ground. Alright? And we need a lot of water on this. I don't think I can emphasize that enough. We need a lot of water. And meanwhile, we still need to go around most of the stuff that we see here. Okay. This is a lot of area to cover. It really is. This is one of those go big or go home type moments. This is going to test your bravery. Going to test my bravery. What am I talking about? I'm the one painting this right now. Fortunately, this brush is made with synthetic hairs, so it doesn't have as much capability to hold water as a natural hairbrush would, so I have to keep reaching into the bucket to get more water, more and more water, and that kind of slows me down. So what happens is I'm taking more time, and the water has time to dry a little bit, so I gotta make sure that I got all the areas damp that I need. This is going to be one big wet and wet area, and some of it might overlap with a few things that we've done. Some of it might. Some of it might. But if it does, let's say it's not because I didn't try to keep it clean, all right? You know, you really want to try to keep it clean at least, which oftentimes is easier said than done. Oftentimes it's easier said than done. So don't beat yourself up if you try doing a big wash like this and things don't go your way. Because things might not go my way right now, but you know, what I do here, what we do, is we show you not just how to paint, but also how to correct when you make a mistake. Alright? Now, mistakes are a little harder to correct in watercolor because it requires a lot of precision. Don't let that stress you out too much. Okay. Alright. Okay, let's go ahead now and get our orange color. We want, you know what I want? I want to clean off a little bit of an area here. I want to clean off this area here because we need to get a mix of a yellow-orange. Alright? A yellow-orange. That's exactly what we need. We need Nicolazo yellow. That color's not quite clean, so let's try it again. Let's get Nicolazo yellow and Pyrrole orange. And we want more Nicolazo yellow on this. More Nicolazo yellow. Alright? Lots and lots of Nicolazo yellow. Okay. If we have enough of that color, we can go ahead and add some water to it. Alright? And we can start putting it in here. Alright? Now look at that. I added a lot of water, and it's still pretty. Here's dripping. Just not what I want. Not what I want. Okay. Fortunately, this round brush holds a lot of paint, so we're going to be okay-ish, I think. Alright. Just do the best you can on this one. Do the best you can. Alright. Do the best you can and be quick. Alright. Alright. Like I say, do your best. Some of this feels a little bit like dry brushing, which is going to be a little bit stressful because we got to get a lot more color on here. We got to get a lot more color. Okay. All right. There it goes. around the figure, around the nozzles. Okay. Sometimes I feel like I need a bigger brush doing this, you know? Okay. Okay. Now we are running out of time on that other side, because if we don't react quickly here, things are going to get a little dry. So let's go ahead now with our paper towel. Let's take some of this off, all right? And the other side is going to still be wet enough. All right, we got some time here. We got some time. Okay. All right. Okay. Right in here. Get all that color. Oops. All right. Okay. Set this down for a second. All right. I better react quickly. Here. Let's go ahead and get in here. Water's already beginning to dry. We're in the danger zone. Okay. The benefit of dry brushing here is that it works well with all the water, the blue water type stuff, you know? So that's a plus. There. We're almost there. Come on. Come on. All right. There it goes. Okay. Let's try this and pull this all the way down. Just get a little bit more water in here. This is probably going to create some blooms, but this might help us finish what we need to do here. All right. All right. So let's go ahead and concentrate on lifting a few things at this point. All right. Yeah. All right, right in there. See if we can get that lifted. Okay. All right. As I say, no pressure, right? Yeah, right. Good gravy. That's too much. Okay. Here, let's do a little bit of this. Get this over here. Okay. Just a little bit of that for our texture over there on that side because it needs it. Now, what else can we do here? Well, I guess we could refine a few areas that we missed. Like this over here. And over there. Okay. Yeah, we missed a few spots. Yep, We sure did. So it happens when you move fast. Sometimes you mess up a few things. Okay. That's fine. Alright. Looking good. Looking good. I know, I keep telling myself that, hoping that it'll actually be true. No, we're in a good place. We're in a fine place, I think. Here. Let's go ahead and get this little slice of land right here. Okay. We'll just take a little bit off that. And it'll about match the color in the back there. We're fine. We're fine. Here. Okay. There's that little bit of shadow right there. And now here's this little bit of shadow right here. That goes from about yay to about here. Okay. There it goes. Alright. Let's think about what color do we want to make all these little nozzles here. I think they're going to be kind of a violet color. Yeah, they're going to be kind of a violet color, so let's go ahead now and let's just take some of the quinacridone magenta with the phthalo green. I want a little bit more magenta on this. I want more magenta. Yeah, let's get some more magenta on that. I don't think I got enough. Here, let's try it again. Get the magenta. Okay. There. Now just a touch of the phthalo green. Touch of the phthalo green. There, that's the way. That looks a little better. Okay, now let's go ahead and, well, let's be realistic here. We need to get the liner brush out for this, because this is delicate work. Yeah, this is delicate work. Liner brush, what do you say? You feel up to it? Well, I don't know. I think I might be able to handle it. My brushes talk to me. Did you know that? Well, you do now. Okay. Alright, so we got all these little things here. Let's try to outline them. Alright. And we'll kind of just give them a little bit of a color. Alright. And if we can, let's go ahead and try to fill in some of the empty space that maybe we left behind here. Oops. Oops. That color's bleeding a little bit. I thought it dried by now. Okay. Okay. Well, that's fine. That's fine. We'll just set this right here. Oh, I paint that. To sop up some of the wetness of it. Oh boy. I just can't win today, can I? Come on. There it goes. Okay, that's good enough. What about the rest of these areas? Okay. The rest of these feel pretty dry. That's the only one that really felt wet. Yeah, it's a treat when that happens. I thought I had gotten so much of the water off of these that I didn't realize, boy, that one is still a little wet. Oh well, you know, it happens. Okay. Okay. Well, we got that. Let's get this one over here. Well, let's get this. And this. I mean, there's a lot of these little nozzles. So get ready for that. Okay. And we'll just kind of indicate that that one's there because it's already got a lot of water in front of it, you know? Yeah. And this one too. Any place that you see a lot of water in front of something, you don't have to get the whole thing. You don't have to get the whole thing. Here. I'm starting to get a little bit of paint on these other parts here. It's okay, we'll just pretend that it added a little bit of texture. Yep. Sometimes you just gotta fudge the painting a little bit. Alright. Yep, sometimes we gotta. Some of these might be a different color because they got a lot of water on them. But for the interest of speed here, we're just going to pretend that these are all the same color. Because we don't have all the time in the world. When you're painting your own pictures, you can go ahead and make sure everything is just so and make everything just the perfect color. But oftentimes here we don't have that luxury because the clock on the wall is ticking. And we have to head out eventually. Yeah, we have to leave eventually. So I just tell you what little I know, and then I send you on your way. Okay. Yeah, we got a lot of those, didn't we? Yeah, we did. Okay. Now, while we're thinking about some things here, let's go ahead with some of this color that we have with the ultramarine and the pyrrole. And let's just outline a few things here. All right. There it goes. Okay, that's fine. Now, since we got some trees over there, we could probably go ahead with that same ultramarine and pyrrole, just a nice mix of those, and go in here and go in there and get that, and maybe get this. Okay. Maybe, I don't know. Where do we think the... Well, I suppose the shadow's probably coming over from the side here. Okay. Actually, I think it's probably coming from the left. Sometimes I lose myself. Here. There. Alright. We also have a nice shadow color in the pyrrole and the phthalo. So we could go right about here and really put some shadows on this thing if we really want to. There. And we could do the same thing over here. Okay. And we can go ahead and just maybe we'll take some phthalo blue and some of that pyrrole, get a nice dark blue color, and we'll go ahead and get the underneath of these rails. Alright. But we'll also get the other side, because the rails kind of have that little ring of light in the middle a lot of the time, don't they? Yeah, they do. Yeah, they do. Okay. Alright. Right about there, I think. Okay. And maybe, yeah, we can go ahead and get that other one too. Alright. Maybe over here, same thing's going on. Okay. Alright, let's get our ultramarine here. We want ultramarine with some of that quinacridone magenta and the nickel azo yellow. Mostly ultramarine in this though, because we want to get this color right here. There. Okay. Yeah, let's start thinking about all the people in this picture. All right. Maybe we need to paint this little kid. Maybe his pants are red. Okay. Maybe his pants are red, and maybe we got a little red object over here. And then, well, maybe we don't have any more red on these other things. But we definitely have a little green color. So let's go ahead and throw a green color in here. Here, let's get a little green on this little shirt right here. All right. Okay, that person's got a little green color on their shirt. They're looking snazzy. Okay, maybe we pick up a little bit of that. There that goes. And we take the nickel azo yellow. Maybe this person's got a little bit of a gold head of hair. Maybe so does this person. And so is this woman right here. Okay. In fact, maybe she's got a little bit of a red dress going right here. That red is made with pyrrole, orange, and just a little bit of quinacridone magenta. Okay. We'll do her backpack over here, this one right here. Okay. Take care of her dress right here, her skirt. Okay. And the way you draw people like this, you kind of just want to keep it simple when they're at a distance. You don't want to overstress yourself trying to get the details of all their stuff just right. So just draw simple shapes on them, and then you can fill in the details later if you want. Like, this probably shouldn't be mostly Nicolazo yellow like this. In fact, we can go ahead and tone it down a little if we want. Okay. And then we can just go along the bottom here. Okay. And maybe we go right in here a little bit. That's how we do it. Now for like the flesh tone stuff, you want to take the quinacridone magenta with the Nicolazo, and you want about even amounts, alright? Even amounts. And we're looking for kind of a blood red type color. And you want a lot of water on this one, alright? Now the key to painting people is more or less to keep them mostly the same color. Alright? When you're painting on your own, you can paint as many people in as many colors as you want. But in the interest of speed, you want to try to keep it simple. And simple means just painting them one color. I could do all different colors all day long, but ultimately it's going to take forever if I do that. So, like I say, in the interest of speed, we're moving. I'm using my liner brush for a lot of these people because, you know, they're very tiny. They're so tiny, these people. There. Maybe this person right there, we got some of that, and maybe that person's getting a nice tan. And maybe this person, maybe these two moms over here have got a lot of sun recently. Yeah, maybe. Who knows? Like I say, keep it simple. Keep it simple. Don't overburden yourself. You'll be tempted to get a lot of different colors in there. But you don't want a lot of different colors in there. You want to keep it as easy as you can. This woman right here, sitting on here, same color as everyone else. Don't worry about it. Okay, look at that. Yeah, that's looking nice. Okay. What's she doing? Maybe she's just looking out over at all the people. Maybe she's looking at that little kid walking through the water. I don't know. Maybe a lot of these people are getting a really good tan, huh? Yeah, maybe. It's tanning season. Time to go out there and get some sun. Catch those rays. Suntan lotion? What's that? Nah, get the baby oil. The tanning oil. Do people even still use that stuff? I know it was a big thing back in like the 60s and stuff, but I don't know if people even still use it. Alright, let's go ahead and get these people right here. Ooh, that's a little wet. Alright, let's take that down a notch. Let's get back to them. This little kid right here. He's got to get himself a little bit of color right there. There he goes. Okay. He's kind of just wearing his clothes through this, huh? Yeah. Guess so. Wow. He's just wearing his clothes right in there. He doesn't care if they get dirty. What does he care? He doesn't have to wash them. I forgot to get one of these people over here. Here. Let's get her. There's her face. And there's her legs. Some of these look a little questionable, but it's all good. Alright, if you need more color, go ahead and mix it. Again, mostly, well, it's about even amounts of nickel azo yellow and quinacridone magenta. So we go ahead and just right in there. Okay. Alright, get that. Get it over here. Okay. Alright. Okay. Yeah, we got him. We got him. Okay. Alright, let's get a little bit of quinacridone magenta on that and get this lady's wear right here. What's she wearing? She's wearing like this big shawl. She decided she wanted to be fancy today. And fancy she shall be. There it goes. Oh boy, what a color that is on someone. Oh dear. Oh dear. Yeah, let's go ahead and take our big brush here. Or the bigger round. Okay. Let's get a little bit of phthalo blue on this. And get this entire thing right here. This is the baby carriage that someone's pushing. I don't know who it is. Who do they think that baby carriage belongs to, you wonder? I don't know. I don't know. I don't know, but... Okay. There's her clothes. Or there's her shirt, I should say. Here, let's get her a nice bottom. And there it goes. Okay. Yeah, that's about what we want to get for this background thing right here. Alright. There. That's alright. That looks just fine. Here, let's go ahead and get a little bit of that color. Now it's just a little thing that's circling around the area, the walkway. Alright, is she still wet? No. Okay, let's throw down a little bit of phthalo for her. And get her other side there a little bit. And then I think for right here, yeah, we might want to get out the liner brush a little bit for this one. We might want the liner brush, I think. Okay. Take a little bit of that phthalo, get it right in here. Those people, they're still walking. They're still walking. Alright, let's go ahead and focus on getting some color into this area right here. Let's just, what do you say we just patch this one up here? And we'll say that looks good. There, it's just got just enough shadow to really punctuate things. And this one has just enough shadow over here too. Alright, so that one's done. Then we can do the same thing over on these ends right here. Okay. I didn't mean to get that area right there. Let's go ahead and just lift that. Yep. There it is. In fact, if we want, we can go ahead with some of this and get There. There it is. Okay. Cool. The final touches are coming, I think. Alright. Right in there, we'll take a little bit off those edges, but in here, we'll leave those. Now let's go ahead. Let's go ahead and just get a little something right in here. There. There. Maybe this area here is real wet. It's getting kind of, ooh, it's getting kind of a mildewy type of color. Yeah, we'll just cover this over here. Okay. Yep, there it is. All right. Whew. Maybe we'll throw one right there. That's cool. Let's focus on what we want to do with some more of these people. This person can have their funny little hat, a purple hat. There, that looks fine. And then maybe we'll take some of the pyrrole and the phthalo green, that is, and color this person's hair. Kind of a beige color. Yeah, that's not bad. And then, ooh, take the violet again. Maybe this person really likes violet. This lady over here really likes this violet color. So we'll just make her entire ensemble here a little purple. Right? And maybe she's got a lot more blue over here on that shadow side right there. Yep. There it goes. Okay. Well, actually, I guess we could pull it down to right about here. There. My brush is getting a little dry. There. That's better. Now, if we're going to add any of these little details on these lines here, we can take some of the pyrrole and I'm going to do this with my flat brush, I think. Take the pyrrole and the phthalo green and keep it about even. Yeah, about even's good. And we're going to make this real wet. We're going to make it real wet, okay? And just like this. You want to keep it broken up because you know, this is like drawing teeth. You know, no one wants to see teeth drawn exactly right. You want to see all this stuff kind of just like bits and pieces, you know, just enough information to know, hey, this is what's happening. And maybe this kind of goes all the way up into here. And maybe, I don't know, just like that. You ever notice when people draw all the teeth in a portrait that it's got kind of a ghoulish looking appearance? Yeah. That's what happens when you do all the individual bricks and all that. You try too hard. It looks weird. It looks weird. All right. That's probably about good for that. All right. Well, I guess we could go ahead now and do the ones that are going the other way. Yeah, that might help. Yeah. That might help. Okay. There it goes. Yeah, that's fine. That's fine. Now, what else can we do in here? Ooh, I know. let's get out our liner brush. We got some stuff we can do. Let's go ahead with the phthalo blue and the pyrrole mix. Go in here between all these little spaces. Just like that. And maybe over here we can get the rest of them. Okay. Alright. Maybe we'll... Okay. Maybe with that mix we'll go ahead and just capture those little spaces right in there. And we don't need to do much else to them. Okay. There she goes. And that's just a little bit of the pyrrole and ultramarine mix. You know, we got a bunch of different shadow colors we can use and stuff. You can use the pyrrole and the phthalo. Go around here a little bit. Nail some of that color. Maybe you want to go around the edges. I don't know. Yeah, maybe you do. Just like that. Make it stand out a little bit more. Okay. That's one way to do that. I mean, go nuts if you want to. Okay. So let's take some of this. Maybe outline some of this. Okay. We'll take some of the phthalo here and just like that. Maybe we want to lift some of that. Make it look a little bit more natural. I don't know. Okay. Okay. I think we're getting pretty close to being done here. What I want to do is I want to get the phthalo and the quinacridone magenta for this little girl right here with her little swimsuit. Okay, and I want mostly quinacridone magenta on this. Yeah, mostly quinacridone magenta. So we get a nice violet color. Yeah, nice violet color. There, we'll give her. She's kind of dressing like her one mom over to the side here. Maybe a little bit, not completely. Okay, there's her bathing suit. And you know what? She's blonde too. Making an executive decision. She's blonde too, and her hair's come down to about here. Okay, there's that. And this lady's wearing some flats, so she's gonna have some little shoes right there. Okay, just like that. Very nice, very nice. All right, now let's get out our smaller round, not the big round. And we're going to get that nickel azo yellow and the pyrrole orange. And remember to get lots of nickel azo yellow here. Okay, so we're going to go in here. And right about in here. Okay. Really focus on getting the nickel azo yellow. Now we're going to lift a little bit of this because it's a little bit much. Okay. But what we're kind of doing here is getting, you know, our reflection. That's really the goal here. It's kind of like this reflection of all this gold and stuff in here. It's fascinating to look at. I think we got enough of that. Well, let's get this one over here. Okay. Okay. That's enough of that. And with that, now we've got just the right color that we needed for that reflection. Oops, getting a little bit of paint in there. That's not what I wanted. I would have liked to have done this, you know, a little bit more wet and wet, but it's a little easier when the paper's smaller. What I'm doing now is I'm getting some of this color with the ultramarine and the Nicolazo yellow and the quinacridone magenta mix, and I'm just adding a few details here and there, like maybe, I don't know, maybe it gets dirty in here, maybe this is just a bunch of grime and stuff from all the years of kids playing and all that. Who knows? Maybe we can work the edges here, make it blend a little bit, make it bloom out. There's nothing wrong with a bloom. It's all about artistic intent, you know? I mean, if you got artistic intent, then bloom away. And we'll just put that right there and that right there. Maybe a little bit of this right there. Okay. Maybe we'll put this right there. It's just got a little bit of a shadow thing going too, you know? And we got this going right here. Just like that. Because why not? Okay. And maybe this one's coming right here. And I don't know. We'll put that one right there, and maybe we'll put a little bit of something right up here. Okay. And we'll just kind of blend it out like that. There it goes. There it goes. Here. Maybe there's a little nozzle in there, but it's real faded because there's water in the way. Yeah, maybe. Okay. Let's get this kid a little bit of a shirt right here. Okay. He's walking, he's got hair too, like that. Okay. Alright. And this girl up here has got a little bit of a violet thing going on her shirt. Alright. Okay. Maybe this girl's got a real dark pants. This woman here. Okay. Maybe this is looking very dark here. That stroller there. Maybe we'll just indicate some things right here. Okay. That's fine. That's fine the way it is. And over here, I don't know. We'll just put some shadows near the top there. Okay. That's fun. What else could we possibly do to this painting, do you think? Oh, we could do lots of stuff, really. Like over here, this girl's hair is coming out like that. And let's get the liner brush. There's my liner brush. I was wondering where it was. Get the liner brush and we'll just make some marks here. Maybe that kind of just stands out there. Maybe it's not really doing anything. And we'll give this woman some hair here. Yeah, it's that same brown color with the phthalo green and the pyrrole orange. Okay. And we'll take some phthalo blue and highlight those shorts over here. Because maybe, I don't know. Maybe she's got that happening here. She's got a little bit of that color on her head there, and then maybe over here, we got this little blanket that someone set out here to change a diaper or something. I don't know. Maybe someone just wanted to lay down some food for later, even though food might get a little wet if they do that. Well, who knows? Maybe they did. Maybe they did. Who knows? And I think we'll get some phthalo right here, and there. Make that get a little interesting. And well, we'll add a few things here and there. Like maybe those colors right there are good. Maybe we got this right here. Maybe that face, it looks like it needs something, and maybe this over here looks like it needs something too. Okay. I don't know. Okay. Let's add a few finishing touches, maybe right here to the bench for one. The bench to nowhere. It's fun. Okay. And I think we've probably done as much as we can really do right now with this painting. So let's go ahead and well, actually let me go ahead and just give this a little something right here. There. Just a little bit of something. Okay. Get that, and then we'll give this one over here that same treatment right there. Alright. So now with that, I think we've done as much with this painting as we can really do. So let's take our Pyrrole Red that we didn't really use in this painting, but we're going to use it to sign the name. And so we'll go over here where no one's really going to be looking and initial it. And you can sign your painting any old way you want. Maybe you want to sign your whole name. Maybe you just want to use initials. Maybe you want to use some sort of other alias. I have no idea. Well, I really hope you enjoyed this painting, and I hope you learned a lot from it. It's a very challenging painting to do, but it's one that's worthwhile, and it's very colorful, and it's got a lot to offer. It'll teach you a little bit about texture and a little bit about, well, composition too, as well as a few other elements and principles of art. Anyway, that's about all the time I have for today, so until next time, with love from me to you, I'll see you soon. Bye-bye.